Hello, everyone. This is The Lock, and this is the sixth podcast of Skeptic Wars, where I basically talk about my favorite articles from this week, from each day, this, from every week. So let's get right down to it, shall we? Measles. First one is from March 14th, and this is measles outbreak infects New York City, and this is an article from Washington Square News, and in it it's basically talking about how there's been a measles outbreak in New York City, and that apparently there's about 16 confirmed cases, confirmed patients to. Well, basically, it's been increased from 16 confirmed patients to 19 patients in areas of Manhattan and the Bronx and um, Brooklyn. And apparently, 9 of these cases are pediatric, and 10 others are adult cases. And, well, I guess we can say we have something else to thank the anti-vaccination movement for, and something else we can thank Jenny McCarthy for, and that is to thanks for bringing back measles, something that I never knew anyone back when I was in school, back all those many years ago, back in the 1990s, 1980s, that anyone had. I've never even seen anyone with measles before, and I know of no one my age who ever had measles because everyone my age got vaccinated. Oh, and speaking of Jenny McCarthy, Twitter crushes anti-vaccination queen Jenny McCarthy. Alright, a few days ago, this is from March 15th. Excuse me. Jenny McCarthy asked Twitter a question, what do you look for in a mate? And a bunch of people responded by saying that they look for someone who isn't against vaccines. They look for someone who vaccinates their children and all that sorts of stuff. And to put it to a point, a lot of people responded. Like, I think it was in the hundreds. And in my opinion, this kind of restored my faith in humanity just a little bit, seeing the responses from all these people, and hopefully, maybe seeing that, seeing how many people disagree with her and how many people accept science and not her pseudoscientific BS. Maybe she'll finally change her position. Maybe she will come out and say that, hey, you know what? I'm wrong. Vaccines don't cause autism. Vaccines didn't cause my child's autism. And hopefully she'll finally acknowledge the fact that vaccines are harmless. Alright. This one's from the 16th, and this is from Waffles at Noon. It's about this alleged flyer that's been going around the internet, claiming to be from the Malaysia Airlines, which is the airlines which the Boeing 747 went missing. That 777 has went missing about 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately they haven't found yet. Apparently, this advertisement, which allegedly shows a Boeing 777, which is actually not true, it's an Airbus, it's not even the same company, not even the plane from the same company. And on the advertisement it says, wherever you go, no one will ever know. And this alleged ad that's been circulating around the internet, is completely and totally fake. It's fake, and to be quite honest, I think it's a tad bit disturbing that people would make such an ad. I mean, I know there's been a lot of comedy going on about this, but I don't think it's very funny because you got to remember we have over a couple hundred people who are missing and might possibly be dead, and we just don't know it because we just can't find this plane. And I feel bad for the families and the fact that we're making fun of this. I just really hope none of the families see any of this stuff because um I don't want to increase. I don't think you should increase the family's pain any more than what it's at right now. Oh, and here's another one about the anti-vaccination movement. And by the way, the anti-vaccination movement, it's been having a horrible past couple weeks. The Australian Vaccination Skeptics Network loses its charity status for fundraising over misinformation claims. What it is that the Australian Vaccination-skeptics Network has been stripped of its registered charity status because of potential information, not potential information, I might say, very true misinformation, disinformation, and dangerous pseudoscientific BS that could impact children's health. And obviously it not only could impact children's health, it is impacting children's health. It's parents in Australia, and not just Australia, but in other countries such as here, who don't vaccinate their kids, run the significant risk of your kids getting something like, say, measles. And basically they've been stripped of their charity status, and they can no longer fundraise. Now, I don't know if being stripped of their charity status means that they are tax exempt. I don't know if they ever were tax exempt. I don't know what the Australian laws are over charities and excuse me, and tax exemption is, but if they even have tax exemption down in Australia, that is. But I certainly hope that if they do have any types of tax exemption, that it's taken away and that they're forced to pay back taxes, and hopefully that will get them shut down. And basically delegate them to nowhere of the internet, which is actually not very good anyways, because that's where they spread a lot of their propaganda at anyways. But still, at least that would be a big blow to them and might possibly kill this anti-vaccination propaganda organization. Alright. Kevin Trudeau's I can't pronounce his name. He's that big scam artist that got sentenced to 10 years in prison. And apparently his whole business empire, it's starting to collapse now because well, he's going to prison for selling books that are just completely and totally BS. He knows it, and obviously the courts know it because they convicted him of selling these books. And so and hopefully we won't see him for another decade or so. And when he gets out, he'll probably keep doing the same thing he's always been doing, because he is already he was a convicted felon before he was convicted of this, and um, he's convicted of fraud. He's convicted of scamming people, fraud, and so I highly doubt when he gets out of prison, uh, he'll learn his lesson. Maybe he'll come out a better person, but I doubt it. But hopefully, when he comes out, there'll be nothing left for him to do. He'll have to start if he starts. If he he'll have to start over. Hopefully, and and yeah. I mean, the reason why he's going to jail anyway is because he wouldn't pay a massive fine. He wouldn't pay back. I think it was in tens of millions of dollars that he was required to pay back, and he wouldn't do it. He said he didn't have the money. Judge didn't believe him, and even if the judge did believe him, it wouldn't matter. He'd still have to pay. He should still have to pay back the money. All right. Next one is from the Raw story, and that is sovereign citizen fails to persuade judge that medieval laws give him claim to empty homes. And this is about a case in Ohio about a self-described sovereign citizen who admitted to illegally entering houses and laying claim to them. Apparently, what happened? This guy by the name of Robert Carr. Apparently, what he would do is break into empty houses and basically say, "Hey, this house is empty. This house is mine." And well, he was trying to use some sort of medieval laws that pretty much don't apply today, about how if a house is abandoned and you go in and you claim the house is yours. And a lot of sovereign citizens seem to do this. A lot of sovereign citizens have done this before, and they've ended up going to jail for this. And here's another guy who's going to jail for it. All right, final story, and this is the big story of the day and yesterday. The founder of the notorious hate group and cult, the Westboro Baptist Church, Fred Phelps, is let's just say probably maybe in a very warm place right now, because Fred Phelps has finally died. And well, let's just say this: a lot of people are rejoicing in the fact that he's finally gone. That at least he himself can no longer hurt anyone by going to the funerals of soldiers and of gay people who were murdered, and kids who died of AIDS, and well, basically anyone they want, and holding up their signs that say like "God hates fags" and "Thank God for dead soldiers." And they're probably going to keep doing this. His cult is probably going to keep doing this, but at least he won't be able to do this. And maybe this will seriously hurt the cult. Maybe it'll start dying. I mean, already the cult's numbers is shrinking because the younger members either leave or they get kicked out for minor infractions, or what many people would consider to be non-infractions, but to them it's major enough to get you kicked out. A lot of people are really wanting to go and protest his funeral, but apparently the Westboro Baptist Church is going to end up denying people that right to do so because they're not going to have a funeral, which absolutely sucks because, this guy did a lot of horrible things. He brought a bunch of pain to people for no reasons whatsoever, just to bring pain. And honestly, I wouldn't go protest his funeral, but if a person wanted to protest his funeral, I would say I wouldn't hold anything against them. I wouldn't think of them as a bad person or anything like that. I think if you want to go protest Fred Phelps' funeral, if it does end up having one, you should be able to, and you're not a bad person for doing that. You're a human being who has looked at what he has done and said, you know what, you have done something so bad that you literally deserve this. And honestly, I do have to agree. And I have to agree with people getting on the internet and saying that, they're glad he's dead. It's a good thing he's dead, and they don't pity him at all. Because I don't. Because, in a way, it's saying that, hey, this guy was so bad that he does not deserve any pity. He only deserves scorn. And I say people should, get their emotions out, get their anger out, get their hatred towards this man out, and then when the hatred is gone, just forget about him, forget he ever existed, and move on with our lives. So that's it. That's it for tonight, or for today, people. If you're watching this during the day, so have a nice day, and until next time, this is the Lock. See ya.